Divine Word College is pleased to present two stories of Christmas. Our presentation, "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." Have you ever heard that story? You will tonight. Santa Claus is coming. So let's see what happens. Are you ready?
Okay. Any kids want to come up? And adults, ESL students, come up.
He's telling you you have to. That's your teacher. Why don't like we're doing? Why don't you want something? Come on.
Yeah, right
Princess Dot.
Yeah. Can you help me read? Oh, look at that kid. You ready? All right. You want to help me? All right. It was the night before Christmas. All through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. Wow. You know this part too? The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas would soon be there. Who's St. Nicholas? You're St. Nicholas? Santa. Okay. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. What's a sugar plum? And Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled down for a long winter's nap. And out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Look at this. Look at this. The moon on the frame
of the new-fallen snow gives the luster of midnight to object below.
Away to the window, I flew like a flash, tore open the shutter, and threw up the sash.
What to my wandering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer.
With a little old driver, so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by their name. Where do we stop? Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner, and Blitzen. To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky. So up to the housetop, the horses they flew with a sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas
Johnny on St. Nicholas, lend your ear this time. Come to tell the single soul what I'm going to say. Christmas Eve is coming soon. Now you dear old man, whisper what you bring to me. Tell me if you can.
As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot.
Someone here?
Well, Larry, that was way before I ate too many cookies last year, so I hope it's okay that we use the door.
Oh,
That's okay? Well, thank you, and thank you for inviting us here, me and my wife, Mrs. Claus. And I'd like to share a story with you. I think that story's great, but I'd like to share the story of the first Christmas tree. I hope that's okay.
Please, Santa, come on in.
Okay. Thank you. So this is the story of the very first Christmas. And it occurred many years ago in a very small town of Nazareth. And there, the angel Gabriel visited Mary, who was a lowly woman, a servant, a maid. And he said to her, "Peace be with you, Mary. You are full of grace. You will bear the Son of God, and you will call him Jesus," which means God saves. And then the angel Gabriel visited Joseph, her husband, and said, "Joseph, do not be afraid. You are called to be the earthly father of the Savior." And so Jesus and Joseph accepted the will of the Lord and traveled to the little town of Bethlehem. And in Bethlehem, there was no place for them at the inn. There were no places for them to stay, and there was a small stable, a place where they hold animals. And the innkeeper offered Mary and Joseph the opportunity to stay in the manger that night. And as they waited the coming of Jesus, he was born, and they laid him in the manger, which was a small little container to feed the animals. And there she wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and the Savior was born. And just outside of town, there was a group of shepherds keeping watch over their sheep. And they saw a vision of a star, and the angel visited and said, "Peace be with you." For unto you is born a Savior. And the angel instructed them to seek out Jesus, the baby child, in the manger. And then the angel went to 3 wise men in the far east, 3 kings. And they knew that the message of the angel was one that was special. So they brought gifts to the newly born king, Jesus. They brought gifts of frankincense, gold, and myrrh with them. And so that was the very first Christmas. And Jesus, the Savior of the world, was our very first gift.
Oh, Santa, that was beautiful. But don't you think that they should hear the other story?
Yes. It's just to remind us that Jesus is the reason for the seasons. But yes, I think the story Larry was telling was great. And so if you want to hear it, do you want to hear it? Do you want to hear the rest of Larry's story? Okay, Larry, let's hear the rest of the story. You want to?
He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot. And his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had piled on his back. And he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard of his chin was as white as the snow. Oh, that is true. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a round little belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. The wink of his eye and the twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to say. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and they all flew away like the down of a thistle. While they heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight.
Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas.